LeBron James doing more than watch the Lakers, Lakers Summer League team Sunday in Vegas. According to Ramona Shelburne, over the weekend, he also had his first meeting with his new head coach, Luke Walton. Before the two had apparently only texted, they didn't even speak before LeBron chose the Lakers on July 1st. Walton, in a nutshell, saying he can work well with the qualities LeBron brings to the table. So how should Walton coach LeBron? We'll start with you, Ryan.
If you're Luke Walton, you got to draw a line in the sand. And you got to show LeBron James that you're the coach and he's the player. Now, yes, you'll rely on him as a captain. You'll ask his opinion on certain things. But you got to let LeBron James know, go play basketball. And most of all, when LeBron's not playing defense, when LeBron misses an assignment, he's got to hold him strongly accountable. Luke Walton's job is in jeopardy. Let's not sugarcoat this. The Lakers need to win a championship. Maybe not this year, but going into next year. And if Luke Walton can't maintain control of LeBron James, or at least work with him and control that team, he won't be the coach too much longer. And that's something he's got to do. And he's got to come to grips with, if they're going to fire me, if I'm not going to be here, I will have left this seat being myself, being the best Luke Walton I can be, rather than just conforming to something that LeBron may want. Because I know as a former player, we see something, we're emotionally bent on something in the game, but there's a reason that coaches do the work. They put the game plans together. They read the scouting report. They watch hours and hours of film. And not to take anything from LeBron James' IQ, you got to let the coach be the coach. And if you're Luke, you go down swinging.
That's the advice that you would give Luke Walton. And I appreciate that advice. I truly do. I think you're right, although I think you're unrealistic. Do you think that advice will be possible? Do you think it's possible for Luke Walton to do what you just said? I'm being honest. I'm asking you a sincere question, Ryan. Do you think that can be done in a relationship between Luke Walton and LeBron James?
It's going to have to be done.
No.
Yes, I believe it can be done.
You do.
Listen, I spent time in the locker room with Luke Walton. He's one of the most liked personalities in basketball. He's a great teammate of mine, and he has a great rapport with players. But this relationship with LeBron James is dangerous, because if you cater to LeBron too much, LeBron and you now separate yourself from the rest of the team.
I mean, your analysis is great. Your analysis is fine. I'm beginning to understand you to a greater degree, and I think today's show has been a real source of enlightenment for me on some of the issues that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's great to be an optimist. I think you are somebody who's a blind faith follower. You know, whether or not it's Le'Veon Bell needs to go for bigger dollars in the offseason, something that's against all odds, or the Raptors need to go for 1 year of Kawhi, which is blind faith that you could keep him.
I can't wait till he gets traded.
Or that Luke Walton's going to be able to actually accomplish this relationship you suggest with him for LeBron James. Because the truth of the matter is, a realist would look at this and say, here's what's going to happen. It's a partnership. It's a partnership at best that Luke Walton can hope for. LeBron James and Luke Walton were in the same draft class, 2003. LeBron James, you're telling me, is going to be capable of looking over at a guy after having won 3 championships himself, having been in the finals for 8 straight years, and be subservient, be second fiddle, take his advice, have him ignore LeBron's advice, have him take cues or give the rest of the team cues that he might disagree with, because those are all the things that are part of a relationship like the one you described. And that's right. I agree with you. That's the way a relationship between a coach and a player should work. Every successful organization works that way. This is unique. There are only a handful of guys that could accomplish the relationship you just described with LeBron James. And there's some of the guys that he has worked with in the past. He could do it with a guy like Phil Jackson. I think he could do it with a guy like Greg Popovich. He probably could do it with a guy like Rick Carlisle, you played for, who's won a championship and who's a top-down type leader. He did it with Spoelstra, but Pat Riley was in-house as well, and that's another legend and another somebody you would defer to when it comes to decision-making. I think it's too much, an unrealistic, blind act of faith to say that can be accomplished between Luke Walton and LeBron James. Go ahead.
So you're telling me he's going to be fired then? You're telling me that Luke Walton's going to be fired, because if he plans on having a partnership with LeBron James, he'll be fired, because Los Angeles has dreams, aspirations, goals of a championship. And if you mean to tell me that LeBron James will somehow be buddy-buddy with the coach, or that LeBron even wants a buddy-buddy circumstance with the head coach, you're lying to yourself. I've been in the locker room with young coaches, with Ty Lue, the same guy who he played pickup ball and competed against in the NBA, played and coached by a guy by the name of J.B. Bickerstaff, who's actually on staff and younger than some of the players in the locker room at that time.
Okay. So
age has nothing to do with Luke Walton coming in and commanding
How about
respect.
accomplishment? How about accomplishment?
That's the only way they get a championship. That's the only way they get a 10 championship if Luke Walton steps in and coaches the team.